So this one is about how I stopped traffic. This one time I was standing at my marina talking to this legend in the boating industry, old man, Bob Smith, but great guy, innovator, of pioneer of the boating industry. So all Maine boaters owe him a little piece of respect. That's the way I see it, you know. But anyway, I was sitting there talking to this old man, you know, because I always like to learn from him, and he always had some cool stories. And we were sitting there in front of a couple of my boats, and I hear a car go coming around the curve, and just started somersaulting, flipping, and was coming straight at us. And then, like in midair, somehow, and like it just like somehow just went shifted the other way, and then like tumbled like 6 times across through like a ditch of like drainage, like cattails, marshy area, swampy little area, and it rolled like 6 times through there, and all very fast. But it didn't even, you know, really hit the ditch before I was already bolting like a flash to the accident. You know, I was screaming "no kids" because I saw car seats flying in the air. You know, I was already like for months crying about no kids about a minivan that was engulfed in flames on the highway when I was trucking. That you know, I couldn't save them. I could have probably saved one, but no. So I was praying for them for no kids, because I didn't want any kids in there. But anyway, so then, you know, I just automatically go in shock. It's like, no kids! Seeing the car seats, like 2 of them flying through the air and in the wreckage. And, you know, so I'm like sprinting through, there was traffic. It was right in the middle of a curve, like the focal point of the curve, 50-mile-per-hour traffic going each way. And I went straight through traffic, like stopped it. I threw up my hands, both. I didn't even know. I just went, my hands out, ran straight through traffic and stopped it. And the people didn't even see the accident. They like fell out of their vehicles in shock, like, which I didn't realize until after, you know, because I was focused on, you know, getting the vehicle shut off, because one of the vehicles I was around trying to get people out of it before caught on fire. So you always want to make sure you shut the vehicle off if you're trying to help somebody out of an accident. You do not want it to run and be the fuel system pushing fuel, and there could be a leak in the line and pushing fuel somewhere, and any type of spark or heat from the exhaust manifold can, you know, it only takes a couple hundred degrees of the flash point of the gaseous vapors. If it hits, just go. But anyway, and yeah, my face is already melted off, so I tried to avoid fires and electricity. You know, I've already been killed by electricity a couple times. I don't try to mess with that. I know I've got enough electricity in me to change the world, let me tell you. But anyway, so so I got the vehicle shut off, and the lady's head was being pinned under the A-frame. The vehicle was sideways, and the wheels were still spinning. So, and I was afraid that it could have kicked if the wheel, you know, caught traction on something, and then that could have, you know, made it worse. But I wanted to get the vehicle off of crushing her head from under the A-frame. But first, we had to shut it off, so we had to climb through it and shut it off. And whatever, there was like ice cold beers scattered, you know, one that was just open but full, all the way full, like it tumbled like way away and landed upright, full. And later when the officers were talking to me about what happened, and I was like, well, she didn't die, you know. I heard it's not cool to drink a dead man's beer. If there's an accident and there's a full case of beer, you don't drink it if there's dead people. But she's not dead. Can I have this full case of beer? I'm about to go get on the boat, and, you know. He's like, oh no, buddy. Yeah, it would be cool if I could give it to you, but I gotta take it for evidence. You know, he's like, this one's still full. He's like, she must have just been opening this when she was going through that curve, and just opening this and just tumbled over, but she got a DUI. And but she didn't know if her kids weren't. She was supposed to have kids with her, and like left it at the previous place, I guess, on accident. Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but I guess it does here and there. But bless her. Pray for those kids. But anyway, but I had already searched through the swamp, very, very well. Cleared it like twice, and then when the police got there, we looked through, and I was just afraid there was a kid under the vehicle. That's what I was worried about, because the way it just rolled. But luckily, no. But anyway, so back to the no kids, and wings jump. So a couple days later, I was sitting at the Pep Boys. I was trying to get some parts, which I bought from there like a couple weeks earlier. But I guess that's when they're in the transition of we don't sell parts anymore or oil. You can get an oil change, but yes, we have this oil here on this counter, but you cannot buy this oil for your boat. You can't do that anymore. And I was like, how about I pay you twice the amount and I'll even give you a handful of weed. And like, no, we can't do that. And then one guy's like, yeah, maybe I'll give you a little bit of a couple quarts for a little bit of that weed here. Let me talk to you outside. But anyway, so I go back in my truck, and I was just thinking, no kids, thinking about the previous accident with the engulfed van. And that was one of the most amazing feelings I had ever felt right then, because it was like a tingle. I got the tingle in the wingles, and like a jingle, like bells almost. And then I saw two souls rise. So that's when, I saw that my prayers had elevated souls, that saved souls from the amount of my tears and prayers and love sent, thinking no kids. That was my answer, that there was no kids in that minivan. And then the whole truck rocked because my wings jumped, like interdimensionally, which I already knew that long ago that I was well beyond them. But they're there. You can't really use them in the physical like this. We got to go from carbon-based beings to more crystalline beings, which we're about to make that shift. We're about to make the final conscious, universal conscious entity shift, like a big one. That'll be real soon, so y'all should be real excited for that. I'm starting to get pretty excited because I know the way it's going to be. Bless you. Prayers and blessings for all the filming. Rogue One.